Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card video. In this video I will show you how to make this card using some of the new LDRS creative stamp set that were just released a couple days ago. So I'm using Life is Sweet. That's the small sentiment stamp set along with the Goody Gumdrops. So let's get started. I have a panel of black cardstock and I'm using this big sentiment saying have a very happy birthday. So I'm positioning it onto the black cardstock. I'm positioning it towards the top of the panel. Because on the underneath I'll have some of those bonbons adhered there. So that's why I decided to go with the sentiment towards the top of my panel. So I'm applying some anti-static powder tool onto my cardstock and stamping that sentiment using Watermark ink. I'm applying the anti-static powder so when I emboss with white that the white embossing powder doesn't stick where there's no ink and I don't end up getting white speckles all over the black cardstock. So next I'm applying the white embossing powder. I have here a cutting board that I usually use for embossing. Gonna flick off the excess, making sure that there are no white speckles on that black cardstock, and then just heat set it. So before I heat set it, I make sure that my heat tool is pretty nicely warmed up so it doesn't end up blowing the embossing powder all over the place until it warms up. So we have that panel ready and I'll put it aside, and now I'm going back in my stamping tool. I'm gonna pull out the little bonbons from the Goody Gumdrop stamp set and stamp a couple times using the hybrid LDRS Raven ink, which is basically black ink. This ink is waterproof and as well as alcohol marker friendly. So I'm stamping that, and I'll just do it one more time to have nice solid black image, like intense black. I'm gonna stamp a couple more. So I'll go one more time to achieve that intense black. So next I'll just color my images. I'll just color 3 of those bonbons using alcohol markers. So here you'll see me coloring of them and blending. I'm usually using 3 colors of the same color family to achieve nice blended look. And I'm starting from the darkest going towards the lightest. You can do either or, either cover the whole area you want colored with the lightest and then apply the darkest and medium and blend it out with the lightest, or start with the darkest and medium then lightest. It's completely up to you, but usually I start with the darkest and then go towards the lightest, and then maybe I'll add some shadows using the darkest again. So I'm almost done with 2 of those little bonbons. And I'm applying some of that orange yellow. So I'm using just pinks, greens, oranges, and pool or aqua colors. I like how those colors, because they're bright, stand out on the black background. And it makes more, kind of draws the attention. It kind of makes the card more cheerful and more, in a way, happy. So I'm coloring that last bonbon there. I'm using the pinks, and then I'll use some of the pool or the aqua colors. Usually those are the ones that I use the most. So I'm starting from the center with the darkest and then moving towards the lighter colors. And then I'm using the lightest one, and this will finish the coloring. So in the next step I'll use my scissors to cut those out, And because I'll be adhering those against the black background, I'm cutting in very close to that stamp line. So I sped up here and we're cutting now the last one. We'll see there is no white border. If I was adhering those to a white cardstock panel, then I'll usually leave a white border, but I cut those closely. And then I'm using a brush pen to color those edges so you don't even see the white core of the cardstock. So when we add them to the black background, the black panel, you won't be able to see anything white. And they'll kind of more stand out and blend with that background. I'm just making sure that all the edges are covered, all that white spots are covered. Okay, so now I'm going back to my panel that we stamped the Have a Very Happy Birthday. And then I'm using dimensionals to adhere those to my panel to get more dimension. So that's finished, and in the next step I'm making a full color top folding note card. I took a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock and I scored it at 5.5 and then folded. I'm using now some fun foam to pop that panel up onto my card base. So as a finishing touch now, I'll be adding some shimmer pen to the bonbons to give them even more interest. And then I'm using my lacquer pen to add even more interest and to make those nice and shiny and more dimensional looking. So I'm not adding all over the place, I'm just adding on particular sections. And then we're moving to the last one. And we are almost done here. So this finishes our card, and before handling the card you may want to let it dry for a little while before you touch it so you don't smear that lacquer pen. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as visit my blog and subscribe to my blog. See you in the next video. Bye!